Hey there, and welcome back to Remnant 2. Today we're going to be looking at the Hallowed Egg Amulet. So when you spend at least 30% of your firearm's magazine to deal damage, it increases your melee damage by 10%, lasts for 7 seconds, can stack up to 5 times. So you can get a 50% bonus damage to your melee attacks, which is pretty sizable, especially depending on what kind of melee weapon you want to use. Now, I found the best way to get that bonus and get that bonus quickly is to use some sort of single shot weapon. Because as long as you hit them with that single shot, you are spending 100% of your magazine to deal damage, which is going to give you an immediate stack of 3%, or not 3%, but 30% bonus damage, which is solid. And then I've been using it with the Twisted Arbalist, which normally I don't use because I don't really like it. But because it's a single shot weapon, you get that 100% of the magazine damage done, so an immediate 3 stacks of bonus damage. And then when it ricochets, that's more damage, which means it automatically stacks all the way up to a 50% damage bonus. And so I found that very satisfying. And, it's the overall weapon has been growing on me a bit. And, on the whole, can't say that I hate it anymore. It just works pretty well for our setup right here. Now, there's a couple of choices in melee weapons that I've been going with to kind of utilize some of this bonus damage. Now, the first choice I'm using right here is the Krell Axe. This would allow you to keep using range attacks from a distance, right? So you shoot out with your ranged weapon, and then you just immediately throw out the axe. It's doing bonus damage. It's got overload on it, and then with the Stormbringer mutator I've chosen, that status effect damage is a little bit stronger, lowering their resistances and stuff. So, on the whole, it's a pretty solid choice. The other one I've been using as well is the Stonebreaker, because it's just a phenomenal weapon. And it does so much damage. The fault lines are also count as melee damage. So when you start stacking up a 50% melee damage bonus, it's suddenly doing a ton of damage, just huge amounts of damage from a single swing. And on the whole, I found it to be very strong for our overall setup. I've also put in Dervish so that when we use skills, it's now doing another 40% damage on top of it. And when we take enemies down with our melee kills, it will reduce a cooldown of our skills so that we can keep doing more skills. Now let's touch on the archetypes that I'm using right now. My primary is the Invader, because when I was originally doing the build, I was using the Stonebreaker. And so what I wanted to do was build up the Hallowed Egg from a distance, wormhole in, and then hit them really hard. So the routine, the pattern, what do you call it? So the way it will go is I use the Arbalist, I shoot off at some enemies, stacks up the Hallowed Egg immediately to 5 stacks, so 50% more melee damage. Then I wormhole in, so it closes the gaps, and I can immediately hit the enemy with a Stonebreaker, and my next melee attack will do 300% more damage because I have teleported in with Wormhole. But then on top of that, with the Dervish skill on the Stonebreaker, it's another 40% on top of that. So I'm dealing nearly 400% bonus melee damage on that first hit, and I'm doing a charge attack. It's hitting him twice. It's doing a ton of damage. On elites, you can just teleport in and then practically one-shot a lot of them. It's very satisfying, very enjoyable. But if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to teleport in and rely on the melee attacks, or maybe you don't have the Stonebreaker or something like that, Krell Axe, like I said, is a good one because you just get the bonus stacks and then you just throw it from a distance and you keep your distance from the enemy and you play it kind of safe. Now my secondary archetype, right now I have the Explorer on because I kind of wanted that bonus movement speed, and the Scavenger perk, you can just get just a generic bonus to all your damage across all our types. And we're doing a lot of different damage types with our setup right now. But I was running Challenger because, like I said, I was teleporting in with Wormhole, which means I'm getting that maximum bonus damage because I'm playing real close to the enemies. For the rings and things, because I was relying so much on charged melee attacks, especially because the Krell Axe has to do a charged melee attack to throw it, I have on the Berserker's Crest. Berserker's Crest just helps us out. It speeds up the charge times, it reduces melee costs so we're not losing all our stamina, works out pretty well for us. I now have the Wax Sealed on. Killing blows increase our range to melee damage by 4%, stacking 3 times, lasts for 15 seconds. So as the fight kind of goes on and we take out more and more guys, we're going to be doing more melee, more range damage, and even on a lot of the boss fights, they tend to have ads, so you're able to get the benefit in the middle of a boss fight as well. Bad thing is, unlike the Hallowed Egg, where the Hallowed Egg stacks drop off one at a time, which is fantastic, the Wax Sealed ring, all of them drop off at once. So that's a big bummer. So if you end up losing out, if you're not taking out enemies within those 15 seconds, you can lose all of your stacks. So it's a bit of a bummer there. I then have the Wind Hollow Circlet on. The Wind Hollow Circlet is going to help with our reload speed, which is great when you consider that we're using a lot of single shot weapons. And then I've got the Stone of Balance because it's doing a 7% damage increase to all of our damage. And we're doing range damage, we're doing melee damage, we're doing some status effect damage because we're doing the Krell Axe. And our traits, right, we've got Untouchable from the Invader, we've got Swiftness from the Explorer, then we've got Strongback. I ended up maxing it out because I want the medium roll, and I've got the full set of Radiant Armor on, which is very heavy. But unfortunately, right, you only need 9 trait points in Strongback to get the medium roll with this armor. But it's kind of annoying because then I have 1 trait point. When am I going to put it in? Like, how much of a difference is 1 trait point going to make? So I ended up just putting it in Strongback just because. Maxed out Triage and Regrowth for some just increased healing and just passive regeneration. Fortify for that damage reduction. We are sitting at 50% damage reduction right now. Maxed out Vigor because, of course, it's Apocalypse. I did max out Spirit because I'm trying to use some of the mods a bit more. Expertise, we're using a lot of the skills, or I try to here and there, so having skill cooldowns is great. Arcane Strike, because we are doing a bit of some melee damage in there, and getting the increased like mod generation from that is going to be kind of nice. A little bit of endurance, a little bit of recovery, just for that stamina quality of life. Now, the other long gun that I will be using will be the crossbow, because I just like the crossbow, and I've been putting the Soulbinder mod in there, which is a lot of fun for me. You hit the guy, and then when you deal damage to him, it splits to other enemies. So it can be a little like involved to get the full setup right. But if you can hit a guy with Soulbinder, teleport in, and then full charge Stonebreaker into that dude, you'll do a ton of damage to everybody because it's doing so much damage. I've also got Slayer in there for the reload speed and damage. My handgun is a bolt driver because, again, it's a Yaesha thing. I've chosen everything kind of around Yaesha right now. Bolt driver is a lot of fun. With Sequence Shot, it just works great. Astral Burst for some more crystal stuff, and the Shotgun Blast is just kind of fun. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, my relic is the Ripened Heart because that's just what I wanted to use. More health in there, more melee damage, and skill cooldown. Alright, so here are some enemies here. As we shoot them with the Arbalest, it'll, boom, immediate 5 stacks onto our Hallowed Egg. Big chops there. Big chop there. And we just go like that. Like, it works out, on the whole, very nicely. And you just go like that. Those guys are obviously sturdy because of, like, that's just how they are. And then we roll away. Roll away. And we've got the full stacks of the Wax Seal. There's an elite guy there, so this will be pretty nice for us. We hit him there. Go ahead and get a charged, we'll actually teleport in, followed by this. And look how much damage, 3,000 right off the bat from that melee attack. Do a mod ability now, charge attack, and then chomp. And charge, boom. It's just kind of satisfying. You just alternate between doing some range attacks into the melee. The Krell Axe allows you to stay safe from a distance so that you're still able to, like, you know, just be safe, right? And then we do this, boom. One more, maybe. There we go. And being able to weave in these melee attacks like this is nice for the ammo, because now, you know, not every time when we have to finish an enemy do we have to use our precious, precious ammo. Let's go ahead and swap it to the crossbow. Boom. Put in the Slayer Mutator. That's a dude next to me. Now, another ring that I had been using instead of, like, the Wax Seal, because I've been kind of swapping around and trying different things, I was using the Burden of the Follower, which increases our mod generation by 50%, but it also reduces our fire rate. So we end up, like, losing out on a bit of a, you know, you should be losing out on fire rate, except we're using a single shot weapon, so it ultimately doesn't really do too much against us, which is nice. Teleport away. Whoop. Again, chop. It's just kind of, it's just a casual kill. Like, I don't know why my frame rate is dropping when I pick up items right now, but I mean, there was nothing super crazy there, right? We weren't doing like huge amounts of damage. I kept missing the weak spot hit, but I mean, the overall play there was pretty safe, pretty satisfying, I feel like, just to alternate between the weapons and do different things. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put on the Stonebreaker now, because it does a lot of damage, and ideally, on like that elite dude, we would have been able to show you like how much damage it can do, like in a single chop, and finish guys really quickly. And I mean, hey, we'll probably find another elite here in a moment just to show you that. I missed completely. There we go. Now, good thing is I actually hit record this time, right? Yep, sure did. One of the last times I went to do this, I did not hit record, so I'm doing it all over again. No, thank you. And we just keep, you know, weaving in shots, weave in melee attacks. 1, 2. And the coolest thing is, too, like, Stonebreaker can just hit multiple times occasionally for some reason and end up doing, like, lots and lots of damage, which is way nice. But you gotta be careful, too, because sometimes Stonebreaker, it actually, like, misses dudes because of reasons, you know? So you gotta watch out for that sometimes. Let's hit you there, and then we do charge attack. Charge attack. Roll. Teleport over. Charge attack. There we are. Uh-oh. Back up a little bit. Chop. And then we just hit him from a range like that. Yeah, I like it. I don't know. I've really enjoyed the Soulbinder. It's already charged up, too, because it just doesn't... It doesn't take very much. It takes how much? Yeah, 650. That's relatively low compared to many of the other mods. Now, I'd really like to show get an elite in here so I could quick kind of blow him up like really easily. Oh yeah, there's one. Okay, so we hit him there. We've got it all charged up. Let's hit him with one of these two. One more shot. Teleport. I missed him. That's unfortunate. We teleport across. Oh yeah, look at that damage. We took a lot right there. That's a... Oh, it exploded too. Ah. But I mean, did you see that huge chunk of damage just from a single charge attack? You know, if we had gotten it right off the bat when we first teleported, I think we would have brought him down pretty much immediately. But unfortunately, sometimes when they keep charging where you're at and then you teleport behind them, you're not immediately behind them because they're moving forward. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. All right, here we go. So we have 5 stacks of the thing. We've also got stacks of, what's it called? Hit him with that. Now we move in, teleport, fully charge. I missed him because, of course, I angled the wrong way for some reason. Lots of damage, though. And that splitting damage was hitting all those guys, which is a lot of fun. And look at all of them over there. We'll use another relic to heal ourselves up. And then fully charge. Oop. Fault line. Hooray. Boom. And then we just do that, right? You got it powered up. Now we're just doing range attacks like that. Yeah. Stonebreaker is really good. Is this a very involved and tedious way of trying to do a lot of bonus damage? Yeah, it really is. There's a lot more simple ways you can do things to just do the same thing we're doing right here. But hey, maybe you don't have everything. Maybe you have the Hallowed Egg, and that's like the amulet you have right now. This is a way I would probably do it, right? Stick with a single shot weapon to get that bonus quickly. And then as enemies get in close, you can then rely on your melee weapon to do more damage. Because originally I was doing this was like just generic weapons. And just having an extra 50% bonus damage to any melee weapon is really good. Regardless of whether it's a really like top tier weapon or not, right? Oh, hey. Oh, maybe we can do something good with him. Let's see here. There we go. Oh no, what are you gonna do? Shoom. Chop. Oh, there he goes. And we're gonna teleport back over there. Oh, messed up a little bit. That's okay. Big chop. Yeah. There you go. He's gone. And he's gone. Oh, that was good. I like that a lot. I like being able to just shoom and then chop. Watch them go away. They're too distracted by the clone. Very nice. Lots of fun. All right, so we're taking on the on Legion, right? We're in the Twist Chantry. This is a boss. This is an issue you have with this setup. Is a lot of like unless you have like the Krell Axe or something that does a lot of like ranged melee attacks, it's going to struggle against certain bosses and enemies, right? This will be one of them because he starts off far away. You're not that bonus melee damage is not doing much for you. It turns into a very difficult fight depending on the enemy that you're dealing with, right? So like this guy, pretty obnoxious to deal with. On the whole, it has not been a good time when I was trying to beat him in the past, which was really unfortunate. Yeah, I don't know. That's really annoying. Oh, dodge roll, please. Oh, lordy. There we go. Now, I did put the Tainted Blade in there because I want to have like more like damage over time effects going on while I'm like having to take cover from this dude. But in theory, I should be able to do, you know, range attack into melee attack to do bonus damage to him. And I mean, it is doing some decent damage, right? It's not the greatest in the world, but we'll get the job done, I think. There we go. Do another chop, and then there. And we'll just keep going like this, right? Oh, there we go. He's flowing over. We need to watch our back, though. Oop. Wonder if that would count for bonus damage. One shot there. Stop and then throw. Teleport over here. Gotta remember, you can use the wormhole for defensive purposes. It doesn't just have to be to, like, close the distance on an enemy and try and do, like, bunches of sick damage on that next attack. Like, that's just a plus side. You can always rely on just the maneuverability of it. Please shoot. Alright, now we can get some damage on this dude, maybe. Come on. Here we are. Teleport. Chop attack. There we are. Decent damage going over time. Get another hit on these guys. Stop them. Maybe. Hut. We need to move. This music every time is just super dramatic for what feels like. I mean, it is kind of a dramatic fight, I guess, but like at the same time, I feel like it's a little too dramatic, maybe. Now, I think we'll be able to get some. Yeah, look at that splits, thanks to the damage over time effects. It's always nice. We're gonna just try and avoid that a little bit using a little wormhole ability. Heal up, chop, and chop. Here we are. See, gotta remember, Krellax, it doesn't have to be the ranged throw attacks, right? You can just do standard melee attacks as well. It's always an option. Why did I teleport like that? Nobody knows. Oh, god damn it. Come on. Come on, open up, open up, open up. Let me get that sick bonus damage. Teleport. One more. Please? Oh, there it goes. Ugh. Yeah, we did it. I mean, Stonebreaker I don't think would have done a very good job there, but, you know, we were able to swap it out. Fit the situation depending on what you got to do, right? That's pretty much a build, you know. Hallowed Egg, it was one of the first amulets I got in my hardcore run, and I used it for a bit. It's kind of entertaining to play around with it. Bad thing is, right, so real talk, it's not efficient, right? I like it as an option if it's like one of the few things you get kind of at the beginning. It's a fun thing to do to get you know, bonus melee damage, weaving in ranged and melee. It synergizes really nicely with like some of the stuff from Yaesha with like the Krellax. Like I said, it's just a ranged weapon. You could use it with a Huntress Spear. Stonebreaker really solid. I mean, World's Edge would also benefit from it. Same thing with the Spectral Blade, because you can hit a lot of guys at a distance, right? I bet it would actually work pretty well with this, too, because that should probably be melee damage as well. That would be kind of interesting. Maybe the same thing with that thing as well, the Death Sentence. Get another 50% bonus damage on that. Could be interesting. But the bad thing is, right, it's a bit of work to get a 50% bonus damage, which, I mean, is a very big chunk of damage, but it is not forever. You know, you have to build up to it. It does go away. And then you've got an amulet called the Matriarch's Insignia. Increases your melee damage by 35%. Causes all your successful melee attacks to restore 10 stamina. I think just for ease of use and general play, Matriarch's Insignia is just going to be better. I mean, it's just a constant 35% bonus melee damage. No strings attached. And you get stamina back, which can allow you to do like back-to-back charged melee attacks. And especially when you have something like Fault Line that hits guys multiple times, that'll give you a ton of stamina back. Same thing with the World's Edge. So, I mean, really, the Hallowed Egg just isn't quite as good as a Matriarch's Insignia. And even then, like, you could kind of like, I don't know, there's some other things that like, just having that constant flat damage bonus can be really hard to beat. But 50% is a lot if you can get it to pan out correctly for you, too. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. A little bit of something different, like maybe you haven't tried it out and you have the Hallowed Egg, just something different to use. Maybe it's one of the few amulets that you have and you've been wondering like what you could do to make it better. Single shot weapon, bow, crossbow, twisted arbalist, boar shot, anything like that, or just small magazines. Like, it works with other guns too. It's just going to take a lot longer to get that damage bonus. So if you have a small magazine gun, it's going to charge it up way faster. But thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I always really appreciate it when people check out the videos. And until the next one, take care.